works that represent different aspects of the research we do in Studio Rashid are works that celebrate the sort of human condition, dealing with networks, with the use of natural materials and environmentally sustainable models for building and making architecture, which has become more and more a passion and a body of research within the studio. Robotic-assisted manufacturing, AI integration into building systems and logic, and looking into the future in terms of things like the way we will interface with between sort of reality and augmented reality, and the way we will kind of utilize data, computing, and digital technologies, even in a more sort of, let's say, blurred manner as we do today. So it's always been imperative in the studio to have a pedagogy that's tied to research and invention and innovation. I think school, the notion of school, the notion of becoming educated as an architect is not basically becoming kind of trained in the pragmatics and the sort of, let's say, the kind of day-to-day work of the architect. Rather, I think it's a place to push the envelope, to look into the future, to do research and create a body of work that is close to one's heart, and also tapping, I guess you could say, the zeitgeist and the temperament of the time to do that research. So I think, the very powerful thing about the Angewandte in general and the Institute of Architecture is that we've always all of us in the school have centered our pedagogy around research, and different forms of research also are interesting to see across the board. And motive behind the work is to integrate research with results and with innovation, and create a pedagogy around that. Architects in a broader sense of what that means, because even that, I think, has an interesting question as to what is the relevance of an architect going forward. And I think that's something we're really probing here in this work, and producing venues and sort of trajectories for the discipline that will obviously mutate and change going forward, and it's preparing students for those changes in the discipline, in the profession, and finding a foothold in what it means and what to be an architect in society and to contribute to the betterment of humankind. For a school of architecture, and particularly for a school like we have here in Vienna, powerful strategies for the future of the discipline. You need a little bit of a bubble to do that, because the discipline, I would say, is under extreme pressure, ranging from economic to sort of, ideological. It's a profession that is sometimes tethered by and burdened by, politics and different aspects, which in fact are very much the undercurrent of what we do as practicing architects. But I think being a student, being in an institution, gives you a certain kind of freedom to explore, and that's a very, very powerful moment in one's career as an architect. And I think that's what the work we're showing here in the gallery is really indicative of. It's students who really took very seriously the idea of probing interests, far-ranging interests, as you can see in the work, but nevertheless interests that they have a particular passion for, but also see a kind of relevancy to that interest as we go forward.